There it goes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this Sunday night's edition of the Wacky Woo. With me, of course, is the one and only Mr. Joe, JSnip4. You can find his work, of course, on his Patreon and also here on his YouTube at JSnip42. Joe, welcome back, dude. It's been a while. How's it going?
It's been a bit, man. I just got done doing stem cell injections in my knees,
Oh, yeah?
like Tuesday. Yeah, wasn't bad. Just had some stuff going on in my knees from when I ran myself over in the Jeep. You'll remember.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Shit.
just gotten. I got wrecked. I'm going on a big hike back in January in New Mexico, and then I went back a month later. And as soon as I got back, I was like, "Oh man, my knees are already hurting."
So what specifically in your knees? Like the cartilage, your ligaments, your
Not
tendons? Like
cartilage, more like there was some kind of what do you call it? Not a tear, maybe a small tear or something in like the ACL or
frayed
the
nerves. Yeah,
what's
yeah.
that thing called? I always want to
The
call it
ACL?
hibiscus. It's not the
Oh,
the
yeah.
meniscus.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Meniscus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but minor stuff though. And he said, there was one little thing going on with both your knees, but he's like, if it was just that, we would just do the prolotherapy with your blood. He goes, but the other stuff really needs the stem cells, and if anything needs stem cells, everything gets stem cells because that's the better solution anyway. So
Right.
they end up sucking it out of my back of my hips, both sides. And
Oh, so
wasn't
you're
nearly
the
as
donor.
bad.
So you're the donor of the
Mhm.
stem cells. Okay,
Yep.
okay. I was just gonna ask you because Sarah had investigated this a couple of years ago, and she was looking at different companies here in Canada. They frown upon that, so we had gone to the States in Florida actually, and the two places we had looked into. We asked them, well, where are you sourcing these stem cells? And they're like, oh, we have clinics and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, but do you know if you're sourcing them from vaccinated or unvaccinated people? They're like, yeah, we don't know. So I was like,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
my
know.
own because
Yeah,
I would
that's
have the
cool.
same problem if
Yeah,
if I had to get from
exactly.
someone else. No thanks.
So your own, is that all like a one-day thing? You go in, they
Yeah.
track, they do their thing, and then they put it back in your knee all in one day?
Yep.
Wow, cool. And so how long has it been since the treatment now?
Just Tuesday. This past Tuesday, I had it done, and
So
almost a week basically. So I'm
are
just
you
taking it
starting
easy. I'm
to,
still walking and everything. Everything's good.
yeah,
Just I'm not doing anything
yeah,
extraordinary at all. Not dancing with Evelyn in classes.
right.
Nothing. Just
Take it
taking it
easy.
easy.
Yeah.
But it already feels like it's getting better.
And were you feeling that the dancing was aggravating it too when
Oh
you're
yeah,
twisting? I'm imagining your knee was like
especially
buckling.
twisting.
It
Yeah,
was
any type
buckling.
of
Yeah.
turns. Like that didn't like that too much.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're in good shape. Hey guys, thank you so
Yep.
much for joining us tonight. We're triple casting on YouTube, X, and also here on Rumble. We might switch to Rumble only, Joe. I do want to talk to you about some of the Epstein stuff and how that connects to silver. So for that portion later in the show, we're just going to cut the YouTube feed, guys. So if you want to come and join us on Rumble, you can do so now. But a couple of things, man. Since you and I talked last, there was zero hedge in the White House press corps talking about the Clinton body count. Like just that is worth a show. The fact that went mainstream. They were also talking about Epstein being involved with the three-letter agencies, and perhaps it was a honeypot operation that was known and organized by people in the government. That too made it into the White House press corps. Then there was that famous tweet from Trump who said all roads lead to Obama, and you guys ready for military tribunals? I'm like,
Yeah.
this is crazy shit. That didn't make it to the mainstream news. We got crickets from them on that one. It was really, really quiet. And then Trump's tweet on Biden being executed, wearing masks, robots with soulless, blah, blah, blah. Even that
Clones,
mainstream's like, that's just a conspiracy theory that Trump's talking about. But at least they kind of started talking about it. Anyways, that's worth a whole show. I want to have your take on that. Then, of course, this whole Trump Elon debacle on the Epstein list, and whoever's playing good cop, bad cop in that situation, we'll have to look at that here tonight. And now, of course, we have JP Morgan out there finally agreeing to offer Bitcoin solutions to his clients, whereas years ago it was like, Bitcoin's a fraud, we're gonna fire anybody. So there's a big reversal there. Big reversal in silver also this week. Now most of the banks are talking about this bond market issue right now. They're expecting it's around the corner. They say the Fed is going to intervene. We have to talk about crypto, but first, Joe, what the is happening in Los Angeles? Joe, like, this is getting crazier and crazier and crazier by the day. We're seeing these pallets of bricks being installed. I'm like, it looks familiar, Joe. What's your take on this part? Why now? Is it Trump? Is it all the rhetoric? Is it the Epstein stuff? And now suddenly we have to change the channel 24/7 and this is what we're being served to? Or is this leading perhaps to something else, some other scenario? Let's start the show there, Joe. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna guess. I don't know for sure, but I think this is going to be probably the start of these blue areas. Remember these 17 cities, 10
Yeah.
cities, whatever, that all this stuff is planned for. Cause chaos in all the blue cities where, and even the states like California. Newsom didn't even want the National Guard, and this is big nonsense. We don't know why he's doing that, you know, because he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think you'll start to see another one pop up. Oh, that one's in Chicago. Oh, that one's over here, another Democrat run city. Oh, because again, you got to have people like Newsom or a mayor or somebody that's a total lefty that's going to allow this type of thing to happen. Because again, it's all planned, and we still we still got those sleeper cells that Woo talked about that we all know they're there. Just waiting on their orders, so to speak, to start. And this is probably some of it that you're seeing now over there,
Yeah.
and you'll just see it pop up all over the place. And again, all these Democrat run areas. That's the plan.
Well, okay. What would be the objective in your view at this point from what we're seeing now? What's the objective of putting this forward? Is it just destabilization, going against Trump, causing chaos, like anything else? Like, what do you see as the objective?
Yeah, I mean, I see absolutely causing chaos for Trump, make him look bad no matter what. Because anytime anything happens, who's in charge when it happened, and it'll
Right.
be Trump that's in charge. But I think they're going to want to do additional things. Like again, we may have power out problems, power issues, and other things. So let's blame it on this thing over here. Oh, we didn't know these riots got out of control, and this happened. You know, and I think it's just going to be cover for some of the more what we might call terrorist activity type things that will be taking place. So while we're all
Right.
focused on all this crap and the police are tied up and the National Guard are tied up, oh, let's run with some of these planes hitting buildings or explosive things going down from other groups, to where they're just overwhelming the system. And,
Hmm.
of course, in the meantime, scaring the crap out of everybody in these areas.
Yeah. Now, do you think like in part of these mainstream news, they're talking about an anti-ICE movement. So it's kind of like against this immigration control. So are the mainstream news, and I haven't seen it, I've been busy in the last couple of days, but is the mainstream news kind of suggesting that Trump's stance on immigration and the new Supreme Court ruling last week that gave him the right to strip citizenship from 600,000 or 800,000 new immigrants here could be used to blame for what's happening now? Like, are they tying that in together? Did you see that in the news?
I haven't seen that
Okay.
myself like that, like exactly like that. But I think, again, they're just trying to let's get rid of ICE, all this nonsense to, the Democrats know they can't get, they never had the votes. So
Right.
now they're like, we got to get some real votes.
Right.
How do we do that? Well, let's get rid of ICE and bring all these illegals like we've never brought before. And if you think the
Dude, we're,
numbers are bad that we've been told, we know it's more than that.
dude,
But
we're
if they
seeing
could
that in
get rid of that,
Canada. We're seeing that in Canada. Last year, the Liberals promised that they would, cut back, and they said, "Oh, we didn't see it coming," and blah blah. And the mainstream news was like, "No, fuck, we told you. All the stakeholder groups told you, like you were going way too far for the capacity to integrate these people."
Yeah.
And they said, "Okay, we'll bring it down." Well, the first 4 months of this year, we brought into Canada 800,000 new immigrants already. Like it's getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, I have a few angles of questions here because it feels like perhaps the 17 cities, which could have been in the past more nefarious in the light of creating the objectives you just talked about, but maybe now it's being made to happen or let to happen as a white hat op in order to place military on the streets to maybe get to some justice. Now, hold your thought on that before everybody says, JC, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Well, yeah, maybe, probably. Joy and I do dabble in that field. But think about it. Whether it's Guantanamo Bay being expanded, Alcatraz, and now we're getting more and more information that prisons are getting all this money without even asking to revamp, to ameliorate, to better their capacity. Clearly, it feels like the administration needs place to house people who are they housing? What are they doing? And perhaps under the subterfuge of that, they're letting this to happen now to pre-position some of their people to do a smash and grab and then put these people in jail, whoever those people might be. We'll get into that. Could that be part of the scenario we're seeing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've been talking about this for the last few years, watching these little things, especially with Guantanamo. Like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
You know, or like when Biden kept renewing Trump's executive order on elections, rigging
Yeah.
type stuff. Why would he dare do that? And like you said earlier about him, retweeting and whatever stuff about the clone and the masks and all this stuff, and I'm like, again, like Fauci's got this giant security crew following him around, marshals, and we're paying for it, and everyone's pissed off. And I'm like, they're making sure that little rat doesn't go anywhere
Right.
because the auto pen signed his name on a pardon.
Uh-huh.
So again, that came out. So it's like, okay, well, you can see this game being played. So it's like, imagine you have these little ants, you're God or a human playing with these ants, and these ants are heading over this way, and there's some bugs over here.
Yeah.
As soon as the ants get over there, they're going to try to fight and devour the bugs.
Yeah.
But you, as the human, can control and modify and monitor that and make sure not too many ants get over there, even though the ants were heading that way anyways, right? So let's let these sleeper cells, we know they're here, we know the border thing, we know all of it. We know they're going to do some damage. We know they're going to do these things. As a matter of fact, we know all the cities they're going to be in. We know pretty much what they're going to do. And we're going to, like you said, use that to our advantage.
Right.
Because like Wubudu had said, he goes, I saw Trump sitting around a big kind of a round table, oval table. I asked, where was Congress? And Spirit said, they're not needed at this time. And he's walking around, standing at the table, talking with these people, and they are all making decisions together. And there was no need for Congress. And we know about the Dick Algar thing, that image we talked about a bunch. So I could see something at that level needing to happen in order to institute that type of whatever it is. Is it martial law? Is it military rule? Is it some combination of both?
Right.
That everybody has to be on the page of, about time you guys enacted that, because, man, look how bad things were getting.
Yeah.
So they have to let it happen. You can't do it in advance, because then we're going to stand by and go, why the hell did you take that power grab if none of the, if everything's fine? Well, people are going to have to feel some pain. So of course it's going to be in the Democrat cities, which is another plus for the Republican or whatever third branch of or party comes out of this at the end. I think at some point we're going to see probably a new type of government or a party anyways.
Yeah.
So it's just a destruction of the Democrats and that whole system for something new, and let it eat itself and expose itself and blow up while maintaining some control while it's happening. Like the old saying, order out of chaos or controlled chaos. So that's my view on it. We don't have any proof of this, but that's what I think is happening, because it is, again, enjoy the show kind of a thing, and just don't get involved and caught up in it.
Yeah. Can I ask you, and you've done a few lives with Woo Dude since also, have you revisited this 17 city, and did it still, was it still in the cards, so to speak? And did you have a timing on it? Did that relate to maybe some asteroids, to silver, to the Biden timeline? Like, where did it fit? Do you remember? And was it still prevalent? Or is this kind of like, this just came back up, but we didn't see this one coming per se? Where are you on that?
Yeah, no, not necessarily the 17 city thing, but he's always known that these sleeper cells, they're here. They've been activated, basically. They're not doing anything yet, but they're active. They're there, ready to do stuff. We talked about some kind of water event, and that guy Brandon, Last Days YouTube guy.
Yeah.
He had been talking about what he thought was like, you're going to hear at some point about like a meteor or something that we missed somehow. We didn't see it coming, that sneaks through, and we try to shoot it with some high technology laser stuff, and we kind of hit it, but big chunks still break off, hits the ocean, causes a massive tidal wave kinds of things. And Woo Dude had said he was picking up on something like that too. So it prompted me to say that to him about something like that, because he's like, it may not, here you are worried about bombs dropping and stuff, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be that.
Before I go too far on some of the lists we need to talk about too, can I ask you to revisit? And again, I haven't seen your shows here lately, but was Wubudu talking about the asteroids? Because just last week we had something coming very close between Earth and the Moon, again, which was a big surprise to everybody. Nobody saw it coming, and oh my God, there it was. Thank God, I think it just passed by. But is that still in his forecast also that we might have? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like that wasn't it, and it was a miss. It's like, no, there's going to be, and he always goes back to the crossing of the planets. Whatever that ultimately
Right.
is going to be the cause of all this crazy things like that. Rocks flying, big space rocks flying by, the earthquakes, the volcanoes undersea, all that good stuff. Or I shouldn't say good stuff, but all that big stuff is going to be caused by that. So,
Did
and
you
he,
see this thing?
I
This was
did
a
see
couple.
that.
Okay, so this in Florida, this gentleman was filming. He was filming the sunset on one area. You can see he's panning to the sunset now. Then he pans to the moon, which is coming up now, and then he pans to this red fucking thing. What was that?
Yeah,
Like
it's
did
like
that
why is it
fly
why?
in?
Yeah, it's like I guess he's trying to basically show like how could you have the full sun out like that
Right,
and the moon only be kind of a crescent moon when
right.
it's right there and the moon's right above you. It was my understanding of what he was trying to show.
I
But even
saw
the sun
this.
itself was like, God, it really what is that? That's just
Yeah,
looks weird because the sun
and
looks like it's back that way.
yeah. Yeah. And I saw this being reported on 3 other continents. I saw a couple of other clips, and in some of them, it looked like the red dot was being eclipsed by another red dot. Like it seemed like there was one thing behind the other thing there too. So
Yeah,
that's crazy.
you can kind of see it, but again, it's like, is that some kind of thing that somebody made up?
Well, yeah, maybe. I'm trying to get to
AI
that
made.
other.
It's hard to say, but
Could be. Yeah. Could be.
I
I'm
wasn't
trying to
real
get to
sure
the other.
either.
Yeah. Well, the point is, anyways, I got Janine to pull on this too. And she was like, oh, this thing is in the past. Like, it's not new. I'm like, what do you mean it's not new? But she says it's like something's happening now to where we can see it. So either we have better technology or human consciousness is rising to the point where we can see it, or whatever was obscuring it from our view is no longer working. Now, whether or not that's just equipment failing or somebody's just turning off the switch to leave us a message, like in that movie. What was that? There's a new series on TV. Paradise. Did you see that?
Huh.
It's like the end of the world, and they create this city in the mountain somewhere, and eventually the guys like light up the sky to tell everybody in the city, like, dude, like everybody's lying to you. Anyways, it's a good new series. I think it's on Apple TV. So anyways, that's I thought that was interesting to
It was
watch that
weird.
this one.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
it was weird.
Yes.
At
Who
the
said
very
it wasn't gonna
least.
get weird?
But it's
Okay.
like the weird, but you'll see stuff like that. It's like, well, God, a lot of people would probably film that, and you don't have a lot of people with their own footage. So,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah. Like I said, I have a tweet somewhere. It's probably like a mile long scroll right now to find it on my Twitter, but there was some from different continents filming the same thing. So at least that's what was being reported. Again, could it
interesting.
be
Yeah.
AI? But even now, a week after, because I remember doing a show last week on this, there is still no community note saying, "Oh, this is clearly AI. This was filmed in 2012 or whatever." Like there is none of that yet. Typically, when there's shit like within a day, community notes usually kind of pinpointed on Twitter. So it hadn't happened yet on that file. And if we look on this one here too, still at the bottom, there's no community note on any of these videos. So seems to be at least genuine in terms of maybe it's an echo of something else we're seeing. I don't know. What you guys tell me in the live chat? What the hell was that thing?
I
Like I
know.
like it. Like what the hell was that thing? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's man-made? Do you think it was like a psyop of sorts? I don't know. And did you guys see it? If you're from Florida, like let me know in the live chat. I'm curious. Sharon
And
says,
no one
"Yeah, I
around here has
watched."
been talking about it. Like nobody,
Yeah, it's so
like at
weird.
all in Florida that I
No,
know.
yeah. Well, when you guys had the alien scare in Miami, very few people in Florida were talking about it too. It's like we were talking about it more looking inside to Florida than most Floridians. Like, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I don't
That's
know.
true.
You
Yeah.
guys are kind of blasé, like, nah,
I
aliens,
don't care about
red
that. Yeah.
Nibru, we don't care.
Aliens. Yeah.
We're just gonna eat our crawfish.
Yeah. Go to the beach. See ya.
Yeah, go to the beach. Yeah. Hey, I had crawfish yesterday. There's a new place in Ottawa. They do kind of those buckets like you and I had
Oh,
in
yes.
Louisiana. Oh
Yep.
my God. It was crazy. But at the same time, I was so disappointed. I was there with another couple of friends and Sarah. So we order all these buckets. I'm doing the crawfish, they're doing the crab, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, dude, I need a beer to go with this. We're like, hey, can we have a beer or something? Whatever. And we're looking at the menu, we can't find it. And the server says, no, like there's no alcohol. The owner is Muslim.
Oh,
I'm like,
jeez.
yeah, but we're not Muslim. Like, this is not a Muslim
This
city.
is your client.
But
Yeah.
then also it struck me. It's not like I'm going to a specific Muslim restaurant to have Muslim cuisine. I understand like that would be their thing, and maybe they don't have alcohol. I would respect that. But this is a crab shack. It has nothing to
Right.
do with
Right.
like you need beer with crab. I don't know. Like, I was like, and they're like, oh, can you write a review? Like, we're a new restaurant. Like, are you guys gonna come back? And we're like, nope. But I wish I did because it was good. But it's just like, wow, that was
Yeah,
frustrating.
you got to
And
get
again,
that nonsense out of there. Like, dude,
signs
whoever the
of the
owner is, come
time.
on.
I'm like, yeah. And she kind of looked at us, kind of like befuddled, like, but what does that have to do with anything? I said, yeah, but look at everybody here in the restaurant. Nobody's Muslim. Like, where's the logic? And she's just like, huh.
Yeah,
Anyways,
you make the restaurant for your customers.
right.
Not you can have whatever beliefs you want, but you
I
got to
don't
take care of the
care.
customer.
You don't care what you do at home. Exactly.
No.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, and again, it's not like I don't know. Sarah and I love this Turkish place we go to, and they have traditional Turkish food. Like it's fucking amazing. All the staff are Turkish. The owner, the chefs, and like they barely speak English, but man, their food is amazing. They don't serve alcohol. I don't care. I'm going for the Turkish experience, and that's okay. That's their thing. But the Crab Shack thing is kind of like, okay, now
Yeah,
that
like open a pizza or bar and grill. You don't serve that. Like, well,
like
the owner's Muslim. Well, why are you opening a bar and grill?
yeah,
Open something else, like from back in your country, that so people
yeah,
can experience, that whole
yeah,
belief of yours.
yeah.
And
Bill
matter
and
of
Bob.
fact, good luck with that because it's probably not going to work out over here. But
I don't think they're going to last very long. Or somebody says, bring your own bottle. Well, yeah, we have a few provinces that allow that here in Canada. You have to ask for a specific permit in order for the clientele to bring their own booze, but they weren't equipped with that either. So it's kind of like, anyways.
yeah,
That
he
just
probably
struck
wouldn't have
me.
wanted it anyways. Like, no, if he didn't want to sell it, he certainly doesn't want you bringing your own.
Yeah.
Because you can make the money on his own if he did do it. If he
Exactly.
sold it, so.
Exactly. It was weird. All right, let's get on to some of the news. The last time I had Cliff Eye on, so guys, there's 2 links I'm putting in the description box, or you can just type it in on Beyond Mystic. The first episode was Singularity. That was March 23rd of this year, and the second one I just had him back on May 25. This was the end of days special report. Summer Madness is the link. You'll find that on my Twitter feed. Now, the reason I bring that up, Joe, is because of this. This is the episode that he had given me. I think it was in December of 2024, forecasting now into 2025 the emotional tension levels. And he had said to me, okay, in June there, it really starts the first week of June. We're going to see like really crazy numbers. Here we are, first week. I thought it was the Elon Musk Epstein tweet, blah, 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 because a lot of ink was spilled on that thing just in a couple of days. But now that we're looking at the riots, could it be that it continues on here? Like, do you see these riots? What we're seeing now, is this a week thing, a month thing, or is that a whole summer thing? All the like, how much legs does this have? And does
I mean, it's hard to say. And again, it may just start spreading to other cities where they start doing it.
Yeah,
and then you see July got the peaks. So it's like, wonder what's going to happen in July, or is it multiple of the same kinds of things we're already hearing about, or something new to add on top of it? Even hard to say, but looks like his data is pretty accurate as far as the emotional.
107 was on with Nino, and there's a 1-minute clip. Let me bring that up on the screen here. I believe I have the audio on this one. Yes, this one here. Let's hear what he says, because it appears here that Nino is suggesting that this civil unrest is really organized in a way for cover for perhaps rounding up people. And this is the beginning of it, and it's either being let to happen or made to happen or both. But they're talking about timeline here and the difference between civil unrest and civil war. Let me just play that clip, and then you and I can come back and do some commentary on it.
And take up the American dream. And
you can hear that, Joe? Okay.
And operate.
So Juan, how long?
You got to come in through the front door.
How long do you think this is going to take from start to finish? The deployment of the military, the arrests, it all starts now. This is the kickoff, right? How long is this going to take? A month, 2 months, a season, just summer? How long does this last? Does this go all the way into fall? I mean, it's obviously kicking off now. So at what point, when is going to be the climax?
Aspects of this will be going on for the next 10 years. But the main push to begin the process of expanding these efforts, those people that think that they're causing ICE to have to look over their shoulder, change their tactics to whatever, we'll just round up bigger numbers. We have plenty of detention facility locations.
But will there be pockets of civil unrest and civil war? I mean, it's already happening now, but like, how bad will this get? How many casualties are we looking at here?
Well, I think that civil unrest is a completely different term than civil war. Civil war means that you have a large percentage for and against fighting each other. We avoid civil war if we have 80+% in agreement. And it doesn't mean that they have to be Republican or conservative or whatever. They just have to be on the same side on a major issue.
Okay, that's it for the clip. Now, he said, how long does it last? Some aspects of this will last 10 years. That sounds a lot like the stuff in Cliff Eye's data. Like, we're into it for a while, but it appears that this secret reveals and this breakup period is at its peak this year and into next year. I think if you look at the Cliff Eye's latest Substack video. Now, do you think this has the potential to get into that Civil War kind of scenario of the movie that came out this year? Is that it? Or is this more controlled in your view?
Yeah, I think it's more controlled. I don't think we're going to see that. Like he said, like when he said, as long as you have about 80% of the population on the same page on major issues, doesn't matter what their backgrounds or how they vote,
Right.
it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
I think like what we talked about earlier, where there's the ants, are controlled. Go ahead and do your little riot, but we're going to control it. Go ahead and do that little thing, but we're going to control it. As long as they keep that control, order out of chaos. I think that we'll have these stupid little riots and these little things, and like the 17th letter message board said about what the hell was I gonna say? Shit, I just lost my train of thought on that.
That's okay. It'll come back. Jim Montgomery says, hey, JC, Nino would be a good guest. I've invited him. Actually, I've had him on my show. I think it was on my first YouTube channel before I got deleted the first time. I had him and what's her name? Eisenhower. What's her first name? Lisa? Laura Eisenhower, the ET contactee kind of.
I thought,
yeah, I think it's Laura. It might be Laura. Anyways, those guys were on my show before, and of course, Nino's more than welcome anytime. Cool guy. So Joe, this military thing, yeah. So we're talking about Civil War. You think it's more controlled? 80% of the population. Well, let me ask you that now. As we're seeing the debacle this week, and suddenly all of the TDS people, the far left people freak out and asking for the Epstein file here because Elon Musk says that the reason this is being stalled is because Trump is on the ticket. Do you think Trump still has 80% of the population behind him right now? Like,
I do.
Do you suffer something with these numbers, or is just what do you think?
I think he's totally got most of the people they need, which is why they let this whole thing roll out with Biden in 2020 for 4 years and let little things slip, little weird rubbery thing, and his eyes look
the ball
closer
chitty
on this one. Yeah, everything just enough for people to go, and then when you add it all up, it's going,
dude. Now that came out, like you and I, like every time we saw a weird mask of Biden with the crunchiness here, the crunchiness there, or like the Balchinian one, every time we looked at it, I'm like, dude, they're telling us it's fake. Like, you'll see.
You would not mess that up.
No.
It'd be the same mask every time, the same thing, whatever they're using, the same person or whatever it is, every single time. Here you go.
Yeah.
And remember to slip.
You remember the proof of life video also over the weekend? He came back, he's like a foot taller. Like, come on. Like,
yes, they were comparing all that. Yeah.
It's so obvious. Like, how did normies miss that? I don't know. Okay, so what's interesting now, though, again, going on to this let happen to made to happen, Trump started with the National Guard. Then Newsom says, no, we don't need it. And now he's officially asked to remove the National Guard. But Trump doubled down and he says, actually, I might send in the Marines. So again, this is leading me to think, this is a bigger military op. Again, they're just slowly but surely kind of placing assets on the board. But I think this is where it's going. Does it lead to us understanding why they're upgrading all these prisons? Probably. And I remember asking Cliff that when he shared that graph about the emotional values. He says, it's in there. And he had another graph in that last show, The Summer of Madness, where he talked about there's a lot of weird stuff politically. There's a lot of weird stuff with the military, a lot of weird stuff with the economy. And he had delineated all of those themes. and it was kind of like a hodgepodge of everything at the same time. So it's kind of like we're in it for a weird couple of months, and it's going to be all over the map. Speaking of the military, I saw this video clip earlier today. So these are tanks moving forward for this Trump parade that's coming up in DC. And on the actual thing here, it says, hold on, this is it, hang Fauci and Bill Gates. Talk about some comms there coming up there too. So I thought that was kind of cool. All right. What do you think? What do you make about this military parade too? Somebody was saying, hey, mark my words, this isn't about a parade. How to bring military
I felt the same way. Yeah.
Right? Come on.
I felt the exact same way. As soon as I saw that, the little train convoy or whatever, I was like, yeah, it's for a parade. Yeah, that's what it is. Sure.
Uh-huh. Well, okay, again, like wager a guess, and I know we're just, stupid tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist persons, but what is this convoy for? Really? Why is it going to DC? Are we about to shut down DC? Or is there a big event happening here too? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Again, go back to that post from Trump where he says all roads lead to Obama. And are you guys ready for military tribunals? Like, I don't think he was messing around. And again, the fact that Trump is talking about military tribunals, okay, so for the mainstream news and someone, okay, he's just repeating conspiracy theorists. I don't think so. Like, do you see it for this year? Cliff seems to think that it was in the cards there when he showed me that last graph.
I mean, I would say if it's not this year, it's next year. But I could easily see it could be this year too.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's just there's everything's there. If you're making a recipe of something, all the ingredients are here.
All
now.
the ingredients are there. Yeah.
It's just
so whether or not they pull the trigger, like they're placing equipment on the board.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's hard to hide between the right. Like for people who are paying attention, we're starting to connect the dots here. It seemed to be where Nino and 107 were going in that video. So. Guys, take that for what it's worth. We'll see moving on. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to go back to this too while we're there, and then we'll go back to silver and the bond market, but and the Epstein stuff also. This to me was okay. Joe, you and I lost channels on this very fucking subject. We've had a lot of hate, a lot of like censorship, losing videos, including channels, and also a lot of weird people on our show, Joe, losing their shit. There was one in particular episode where I was new at this and I had to mute people. I don't know if you remember. Don't get into it. At any rate, like this is again now told by the president. Now, this, mind you, and I had the debate the other day when I posted this. Somebody says, JC, stop parsing the words. It's a retruth. So it wasn't Trump's words per se. Because I'm like, wait. Let's just read it, and then I'll tell you what the recrimination was. There is no Joe Biden. Executed in 2020. Biden clones, doubles, robotic engineered, soulless, mindless entities are what you see. And so I was parsing that on the robotics, the soulless clones, the doubles, all that stuff, and I was trying to get to what was the comm here, and people were kind of aggravated at me. I said, well, JC, you're parsing words, but these weren't his words. I'm like, hold on a second. First of all, nothing goes on Truth Social or on Twitter, and oftentimes, like he's the guy dictating to the person next to him. Here, put this on my Truth Social or on my Twitter. We see videos of this all the time. And I said, there's a million tweets about people talking about Joe Biden being executed and cloned. So he could have picked one that had just the words that he wanted, but he specifically picked this one. So in my view, I can parse the words. It's just as good as if it was coming from Trump. Do you agree with me on that?
I approve this message is what he's saying.
Right, exactly. Okay, so we're on the same page there. So here there was a couple of things. A clone and a double and a robotically engineered soulless, mindless entity, they're all different things, right? And in the last couple of years, when we look at the videos, when you and I were, I think we've cataloged 6 or 7 different Bidens over the last 5 years, right? If you look at the different iterations, right? And so I'm like, I wouldn't consider those to be clones because in my mind, when they clone somebody, it's almost exactly a look-alike. What might not be there is all of the memories, but the body should be the same, hence the word clone. So we might have had some clones of Bidens, sure. Those would be harder to detect in my view because they look almost identical. But the doubles, that's where the kicker is. if you're paying attention, like you and I are, we saw all the doubles of Hillary Clinton and all these guys, like it, and we've seen the Trump doubles as well in certain cases for security reasons. We've seen those too. But the robotic engineered soulless mindless entities, that was cool because remember you and I were doing shows and we were kind of laughing at the way that Biden was working, and it kind of looked robotic at a certain point. And now we're seeing these new AI robots there just making the news in the last couple of weeks, and they kind of walk exactly like that. So my point here was there's of course the message or the comm that Biden was executed, but nobody's asking, well, what was he executed for? Like, we haven't had that conversation yet, but that's a big conversation. But then we have to look at, dude, are there really clones and robotic engineered soulless mindless people pretending to be our politicians right now? Like, this is straight out of a
I was reading one of Tori's posts recently.
Yeah,
where she said, and I wish I had it in front of me, but it was something like, you know, we have laws that protect human beings and citizens, but what about a clone or those kinds of things?
Yeah.
What do they have? Do they have rights? Do they have any protections? Do they have?
All right.
I go, that's a good point. They may not be protected under any law because they're not real.
Yeah.
There's no human rights. You don't have human rights.
Yeah.
They don't have rules and things for those people because they're not people. That, I think, was the point she was making. So I'm going, oh, snap. And she says, yeah, we need legislation that includes them.
Well, that's a big conversation, man. A lot of people are not ready for that one.
No,
That's
I don't
probably
think so.
it's 10 or 20 conversations down the line. We have to start with what's on the screen. First of all, he was executed for what, right? Was it treason? What was it? Blah, blah, blah. 1. 2, I kind of mentioned this to a couple of my normies because they were interested in this, normies. But they're like, JC, your thing doesn't compute. I'm like, what do you mean? He says, on one hand, you said it was a cheated election, a stolen election, and that, you know, the Biden administration was a pretendency or puppetry. So how do you take into account the fact that at the end they had to switch him because he was senile? Like, wasn't that part of the movie in the beginning? So, I mean, okay, they made a point, but it's like, no, you could still have both. At some point, you could still have the stolen election. You can have a puppet put in place to where at some point...
Are you still on...
Yeah, we should probably remove the YouTube stuff. Yeah, here I was so excited about having this conversation. Okay, hold on. Let me go. You're right. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please come and join us on Rumble. Let me put the link in the live chat here just a second. Make sure you guys can come and follow us on Rumble. There you go. Okay, and here. All right. Thanks, Joe, for saving my ass. Let me remove the YouTube feed.